There was a time when dreams were made of celluloid and starlight, when every frame flickered like a promise that somewhere in the darkness of a movie theater, magic was real. It was the Golden Age, a world built not by computers or green screens, but by imagination, sweat, and the shimmer of black and white light. Actors didn't just perform, they belonged to another era of grace and scandal, of legends born and reputations buried. Directors fought studios, stars defied censorship, and behind every smiling face was a story the cameras weren't meant to capture. This is classic Hollywood, where the reels never stop spinning, where beauty met tragedy, perfection hid its cracks, and fame came at a price few were willing to pay. Here, we step behind the velvet curtain and uncover the real history, the secrets buried under decades of glamour, the mistakes that shaped masterpieces, and the moments that changed entertainment forever. From forbidden scenes that vanished overnight, to performances that defined generations, we're not just watching the past, we're reliving it. So, pull up a chair, dim the lights, and let the golden glow of nostalgia take you back to the age when Hollywood was more than an industry. It was a dream that refused to die. Welcome to Classic Hollywood. The banned scenes, mistakes, and forgotten secrets the world was never meant to see. You realize that the aim, of course, will be crude. But that's the beauty of it, isn't it? I don't care if we hit the broadside of perfection, only that we aim for wonder. Because that's what Star Trek was to me the first time I saw it flicker to life on my family's old black and white television. It wasn't just a show. It was a universe. When that whoosh of the Enterprise came through the crackling speaker, we'd stop dinner mid-bite. Chairs scraped across the floor, forks clinked onto plates, and every head turned toward that glowing box. There was Captain Kirk, stepping out of the turbolift with that impossible confidence, Spock raising one impeccable eyebrow, and McCoy already half exasperated, muttering the words that became a mantra. "I'm a doctor, not a..." Those nights were electric. The picture warped, the sound wavered, and still, it felt like magic. But behind that magic, behind the galaxy of dreams Gene Roddenberry gave us, were stories the audience was never meant to hear. Mistakes buried, scenes banned, moments erased by nervous network hands that thought the public wasn't ready. So today, we open the hidden archive, the secret history of Star Trek, the original series. Here are 15 mistakes, forbidden scenes, and forgotten truths that shaped the legend. Number 15. The Turbo Lift Magic Trick. Charlie X. In the 1,960 seconds, nobody noticed. The picture was too soft, the moment too quick. Kirk steps into the turbo lift wearing his familiar gold command tunic, the symbol of Starfleet authority. But when the doors open, not 5 seconds later, he walks out wearing a completely different uniform. No fade, no time-lapse, no explanation. Just an impossible costume change mid-lift. To kids watching in black and white, it slipped by unseen. But today, in high definition, it's unmistakable. The Enterprise's turbo lift looks less like a transporter and more like a cosmic wardrobe malfunction. A blink and you miss it miracle from the golden age of TV continuity errors. Number 14. The kiss that terrified America. Plato's Stepchildren. It lasted just a few seconds, but it sent shockwaves across the nation. In 1968, Captain Kirk and Lieutenant Uhura shared television's first interracial kiss. No trick camera angles. No evasions. Just two people in a moment of real connection, at a time when America still wrestled with its own reflection. NBC executives panicked. Affiliates threatened to pull the episode. Sponsors called it too dangerous. But the crew filmed it anyway, deliberately ensuring the kiss couldn't be edited out. What the network saw as a mistake became a milestone in history. A risk that defied fear. A gesture that transcended television. A kiss that said, the future belongs to everyone. Number 13. Uhura's erased memory. And the memory the writers forgot. Uhura was grace under pressure. Calm, brilliant, unshakable, the heartbeat of the bridge. But in The Changeling, she endures one of the cruelest fates in the series. Her mind completely erased by the probe Nomad, She's forced to relearn language, speech, identity itself, as if her entire life had been deleted. And then, as if by some strange miracle, the very next episode arrives. And she's perfectly fine. No mention of trauma, no explanation, no recovery. It's the kind of continuity gap that only 1,960 seconds television could get away with. A catastrophe, 1 week, forgotten by next Tuesday. But even in that, there's something oddly beautiful, a reflection of how Star Trek always pressed forward, no matter what the last episode left behind. Number 12. The torture scene. NBC erased in 24 hours. Dagger of the Mind. Kirk, the unbreakable hero, the man who could outwit gods and outfight aliens. But in one forbidden cut of Dagger of the Mind, we saw something else, something NBC refused to show. In that lost version, Kirk is strapped tight beneath pulsing red lights, eyes twitching, sweat pouring as a neural device tears into his mind. Helen Noel watches in horror, powerless. NBC executives screened it once and ordered it destroyed. Too violent, too real. What aired instead was a softened imitation of that horror. The real footage erased within 24 hours. A glimpse into a version of Star Trek that was darker, braver, and decades ahead of its time. Number 11. James R. Kirk, the Tombstone Typo. That launched 50 years of debate. In Where No Man Has Gone Before, Kirk stands over a grave marked with his own name. A chilling image, until fans squinted at the engraving and saw it. James R. Kirk, not T. A single wrong letter turned a solemn scene into an unintentional punchline. CBS later claimed it was Gary Mitchell's error that the inscription reflected a dying man's confusion. But no one really believed that. And so, a prop error became legend. One tiny slip that made the captain himself mortal proof that even perfection has typos. Number 10. Morphine That Never Was. The Scene. NBC wouldn't dare air. In Harlan Ellison's original script for The City on the Edge of Forever, Dr. McCoy injects himself with morphine, a real-world drug overdose that sends him spiraling into madness. NBC's reaction was instant. No real narcotics, no addiction, no controversy. So morphine became cordrazine, a fictional, sanitized substitute, and the story lost a layer of raw human tragedy. It's a small change with a massive ripple. Proof that in 1,960 seconds television, imagination could go anywhere except too close to the truth. Number 9. The ripped shirt that never ripped. Every fan remembers it. Kirk, chest torn open mid-battle. The embodiment of 23rd century masculinity. But freeze frame that moment in HD, and you'll see the truth. The rip doesn't happen during the fight. It happens between cuts. One frame, pristine. Next frame, shredded. No alien claws. No epic struggle. Just a costume department, helping the legend along. Even the toughest captain, it seems, had help looking heroic. Number 8. The boulder that betrayed the illusion. As kids, we believed Kirk could move mountains, literally. In one episode, he shoves a massive rock to block his enemy's path, a moment that once looked mighty and cinematic, until HD betrayed the secret. The boulder wobbles like a foam pillow. A planet-saving act turns into a comedy sketch. But maybe that's why we still love it. Because Star Trek wasn't about flawless effects, it was about belief, and belief is something foam can't ruin. Number 7. The children who were erased. Miri. Miri was supposed to be devastating. A world of children left behind after a plague wiped out every adult. But the original version was far darker. The camera was meant to drift over toys, tiny shoes, half-open books, and the bodies of the dead children themselves. NBC refused. No corpses, not on family television. The Saturday is What About Bud, so the sequence was erased, softening the heartbreak that was meant to haunt us. A forbidden image, buried under decades of network caution. Number 6. The song that sang itself. The Conscience of the King. Uhura's voice fills the air. A haunting melody floats across the room, except her lips barely move. She stops singing, but the song continues. It's one of those perfectly imperfect moments that only old TV could give us, when the illusion slips for just a second and the magic becomes human again. Number 5. The wrinkled future. Tomorrow is yesterday. The Enterprise's main view screen, the ultimate symbol of futuristic technology, is, in truth, wrinkled cardboard. Under studio lights, every crease becomes visible. It's both hilarious and touching. The future, built from paint and plywood, but it worked because we believed it. Number 4. The camera on the bridge, where no man has gone before. The HD remaster revealed something the original audience never saw. A full camera rig, cables, and studio gear sitting right there on the Enterprise bridge. A reminder that behind the illusion of the 23rd century, a crew of exhausted 20th century dreamers were inventing television magic with duct tape and deadlines. Number 3. The betrayal of HD, when stunt doubles became visible. As kids, we thought Kirk and Spock did it all, every punch, every leap, every fall. Then, HD came along and shattered that fantasy. Faces visible, wigs slightly off, stunts suddenly revealed as doubles. And yet, somehow, seeing the seams only made it more endearing. The heroes were still heroes, they just had a little help. Number 2. Return of the Archons, the episode of adorable accidents. Rubber rocks, vanishing props, sound cues that play seconds late. Return of the Archons is a beautiful mess of early sci-fi TV. Even the actors seem to know it, flinching before the sound effects hit. What once scared us as children now makes us laugh. Proof that nostalgia is sometimes stronger than perfection. Number 1. The zombie who moved for the camera in one haunting episode. A motionless zombie-like extra lies across the path until the film crew approaches. Then, as if politely making room, she lifts her leg for them to pass and settles back into dead position. Terrifying becomes tender. A moment meant to evoke fear becomes pure charm. And maybe that's the heart of Star Trek's legacy. Imperfection that glows with life. Because when we look back, we realize the things that made Star Trek imperfect are exactly what made it unforgettable. Those rubber props, visible wires, and flubbed lines weren't failures. They were proof of ambition. A handful of people in the 1,960 seconds trying to build a universe out of cardboard and courage. And somehow, they succeeded. We don't love Star Trek because it was flawless. We love it because it dared to try, because it reached for the stars. And in its cracks and errors, we found something deeply human, a reminder that imagination is the most powerful warp drive of all. And so, another reel fades to black, but the magic never truly ends. The stars of classic Hollywood may have left the sound stages long ago, yet their light still flickers not just on film, but in us. Every smile, every scandal, every line delivered with trembling perfection. It's all part of a legacy that refuses to be forgotten. Because this isn't just history, it's memory. It's the echo of a time when every camera flash was a wish, every premiere a promise, and every failure a story waiting to be rediscovered. If you've enjoyed stepping back into this world of wonder, make sure you stay with us. There are still so many secrets left behind the studio gates. So many ghosts of glamour still whispering through the celluloid. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell not just for the algorithm, but for the love of stories that never grow old. Until next time, keep your popcorn warm, your heart open, and remember, the golden age of Hollywood never truly ended. It just changed its stage. This is Classic Hollywood, where every ending is just the start of another story.